Welcome to Clarity and Charisma Podcast.
From the Handcrafted English team. Have you ever wanted to just, absolutely smash your computer screen with a heavy book? Like completely throw a massive tantrum because a website won't load? Please tell me I am not the only one, Daniel. Welcome to Handcrafted English, everyone. I am starting us off with some pure confession today.
Oh, Emma, you are definitely, absolutely not alone in that club. In fact, I think I am the president of that club. Just yesterday, I spent 20 minutes trying to untangle my phone charger cords, and by minute 15, I was literally sweating with pure rage. It is embarrassing to admit, but man, I almost threw the whole thing out the window. Hello, everyone. I'm Daniel, and yes, I have anger management issues with plastic cords.
Oh, thank goodness. That actually makes me feel so much better. Because honestly, when we talk about learning English, everyone always teaches you how to say, "Excuse me, where is the library?" or "It is a pleasure to meet you." But nobody ever teaches you how to say, "I am incredibly angry right now, and if one more thing goes wrong, I might lose my mind." But say it in a way that doesn't get you fired from your job or kicked out of a cafe.
Exactly, because frustration is a universal human experience. Whether you are an absolute beginner at the A1 level or a super advanced B2 speaker, you're gonna get mad. Things go wrong, technology fails, people are late. And when you are communicating in a second language, that frustration feels multiplied by like 100 because you feel trapped inside your own head. You want to express this huge, fiery emotion, but your brain is hunting for basic verbs. It's an awful feeling.
It really is. You feel like a boiling kettle, and if you don't know the right words, you either stay completely silent and explode on the inside, or you use words that are way too aggressive or rude, which just makes the whole situation a complete disaster. So today, Daniel and I are breaking down exactly how to navigate these high-stress moments. We'll look at how to communicate your frustration clearly, politely, and effectively, no matter your level. And trust us, we will be sharing plenty of our own messy moments along the way.
Yeah, we are definitely experts in being frustrated. Let's start with the basics for our friends who are just building their vocabulary at the A1 and A2 levels. When you're in a situation where you feel that heat rising in your chest, you do not need long, complicated paragraphs. You need simple, short survival phrases. Emma, what is your absolute go-to when you feel things getting a bit too much?
Honestly, simplicity is a lifesaver. A phrase I use all the time when I'm overwhelmed is just, "I'm a bit stressed right now." It's so simple, but it communicates so much. By adding that tiny word, bit, it softens the impact. It tells the other person, okay, Emma is having a tough moment, let's give her some space. Another great one is, "This is a little difficult for me." Daniel, how do you handle it when you're pushed to your limit but need to keep it basic?
I love using the phrase, "I need a minute." It's powerful, it's clean, and it buys you immediate time. Let's say you're at a train station or a hotel reception desk and there's a massive misunderstanding. Instead of panicking or shouting, you can just say, "I'm sorry, I need a minute." It signals to the other person that you're taking control of your emotions. Another fantastic A2 level phrase is, "I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed." Overwhelmed is such a beautiful word because it translates to, "There's too much happening in my brain right now." It explains your state without placing blame on anyone else.
That's such an important point, Daniel. Explaining your own state rather than attacking the other person. Because if you say, "You are making me mad," the other person immediately gets defensive. But if you say, "I'm finding this situation a little frustrating," you're focusing on the situation, not the person. It keeps the communication channel open.
Oh, absolutely. It changes the entire energy of the room. Now, let's move up the ladder a bit to our B1 and B2 speakers, where we can start introducing some real color, idioms, and natural descriptions. One of my absolute favorite English idioms for frustration is to drive someone up the wall. Like, "Oh my gosh, this slow internet is driving me up the wall." Emma, what actually drives you up the wall in daily life?
Ugh, don't get me started. People who play videos on their phones out loud in public places without headphones. That drives me absolutely up the wall. I can feel my blood pressure rising just talking about it. What about you?
For me, it's definitely when people leave empty milk cartons inside the refrigerator. Like, why put it back if it's empty? You open the fridge, you're excited for a glass of milk, and boom, it's just cardboard and disappointment. It drives me up the wall. But notice how native speakers use this idiom. It's vivid, it's descriptive, but it's also safe to use with friends and colleagues because it has a slight touch of humor to it. It shows you're annoyed, but you haven't completely lost your mind yet.
Right. It shows you're still in control. Another incredible idiom for that exact feeling of being completely maxed out is at my wit's end. This means your intelligence, your patience, your strategy, everything is completely exhausted. You've tried everything and nothing is working. For example, I've been trying to fix this printer for 3 hours and I'm at my wit's end. It's a fantastic phrase because it conveys deep frustration but carries a very professional, articulate tone. You sound mature even when you're secretly ready to cry.
I've definitely been at my wit's end with printers. I convinced myself once that an office printer was intentionally trying to ruin my life. I think I actually talked to it. I said, please just print the document. I'm begging you. It didn't listen.
Did you lose your cool? Because that's our next target phrase, to lose one's cool. This means to completely lose your temper, to start shouting, or to let your anger take over. And the trick with this phrase is that we often use it after the event to apologize or reflect on our behavior. Like, I'm so sorry I lost my cool yesterday. I was just under a lot of pressure. It's an incredibly vulnerable and mature way to repair a relationship after a messy moment.
That's so true. Admitting when you lose your cool actually builds trust. It shows you're human, but you're accountable. Now, when we're in those moments where we feel like we're about to lose our cool, what do? We need to blow off steam. This is such a great visual idiom. Think of an old steam train or a pressure cooker. If you don't release that steam, the whole thing explodes. So, to blow off steam means to do something physical or verbal to let out that negative energy. Anna, how do you blow off steam after a really frustrating day?
I go for a very long, very fast walk while listening to incredibly aggressive rock music. It's the only thing that works. By the time I get home, all that tight energy in my shoulders is completely gone. What about you, Daniel? Do you punch a pillow or something?
No pillows are harmed, thankfully. I actually cook. If I'm super stressed, I'll find a recipe that requires a lot of chopping or kneading dough. There's something incredibly therapeutic about aggressively chopping vegetables or pounding a lump of bread dough onto a kitchen counter. It lets me channel all that workplace frustration into a delicious dinner. It's a win-win situation, honestly.
That's amazing. You're literally turning anger into bread. I love that so much. But sometimes you can't go for a walk or start baking bread in the middle of a frustrating situation. Sometimes you're sitting in a meeting or you're on a phone call with customer service and you feel the steam building up. In those exact moments, the best phrasal verb to use is to step back. This can mean physically moving away, but more importantly, it means mentally pausing. You say to yourself, okay, I need to step back from this problem for 5 minutes so I can look at it clearly.
Yes, stepping back is a superpower, and you can communicate this to the other person beautifully. You can say, let's step back for a moment and look at the main issue here. See how professional that sounds? You're taking a chaotic, angry moment and transforming it into a structured, calm discussion. You're basically guiding the conversation like a pro.
Oh, absolutely. It puts you in the driver's seat. But okay, Daniel, let's be real for a second. Sometimes stepping back isn't enough to actually get rid of the anger. Sometimes you just need to talk it out with someone you trust. And that brings us to our final target word for today. To vent. Now, venting is like opening a tiny safety valve on that boiling kettle we talked about. It is when you just completely pour out all your negative feelings to a friend or a family member, not because you want them to fix the problem, but just because you need to get the heavy thoughts out of your head.
Oh man, I am a professional venter. Just ask my wife. I will come home after a long day of dealing with technology failures or bad traffic, and I will just stand in the kitchen and talk at her for 10 solid minutes without breathing. And then the website crashed, and then the guy pulled out in front of me, and then my coffee spilled. And she just stands there, nodding, because she knows I don't need a solution. I just need to vent. It is incredibly therapeutic, but you have to make sure you do it with the right person. Venting to your boss about your boss, probably a terrible career move.
Yeah, definitely do not vent directly to the person who signs your paychecks. That is a one-way ticket to the unemployment office. But venting to a classmate, a study partner, or a close friend is amazing. And here's a little secret for our language learners. Venting in English is actually one of the best ways to practice your fluency because when you are genuinely annoyed, your brain stops overthinking grammar rules. You stop worrying about whether you should use the present perfect or the past simple. You just want to express the emotion, so the words come out faster and more naturally. It forces you past that awkward hesitation phase.
That is a brilliant point, Emma. I never thought about it that way, but you are totally right. When you're emotional, you drop your perfectionism, and perfectionism is the absolute enemy of language learning. So honestly, the next time you're frustrated with an English grammar rule, like phrasal verbs, because let's face it, phrasal verbs are driving me up the wall, just vent about it. Say this grammar rule is driving me up the wall. Boom, you're practicing natural, authentic English while complaining about English. It's a beautiful paradox.
I love that. Complaining your way to fluency. That should be the title of our next book, Daniel. But let's do a quick, clear recap for everyone listening, just to make sure these strategies really stick, especially depending on where you are on your English journey.
Exactly. Keep it simple, keep it calm, and buy yourself some time. And if things go completely wrong and you do happen to lose your cool, just remember to use that phrase afterwards to apologize and clean up the mess. Like, hey, sorry I lost my cool earlier. It happens to all of us.
It really does. I mean, we're sitting here hosting a podcast about communication, and just this morning, I literally yelled at a piece of toast because it burned. Like, I genuinely looked at the bread and said, "Why are you doing this to me today?" It was completely ridiculous. We all lose our cool. The key is just being kind to yourself, recognizing the feeling, and having the tools to reset.
Toasted bread can be highly manipulative, Emma. I don't blame you at all. Well, everyone, we hope these phrases give you a bit more confidence the next time you feel that heavy steam rising. You don't have to be perfect, you just have to keep communicating. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today on Handcrafted English.
Yes, thank you all so much. Take a deep breath, step back when you need to, and remember it's okay to blow off steam. We'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye, everyone.